Right, so after the video played, the video goes for about 5 minutes or so. We'll just talk through that. When it finishes, I'll just thank you guys. You can sort of respond if you like, and then it'll just cut straight to me and I'll throw to Alex, and then you guys are clear.
Sneak off out.
Yeah, Cat will lead you out. another beautiful day at the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum. Hi, I'm Kurt from AusArmour. I'll be your host for the next hour as we go back to our live stream here at day 2 at AusArmourfest 2021. We had a great turnout yesterday and a fantastic turnout for our partners stream, World of Tanks. It was fantastic action yesterday and we hope to replicate it again today. So before we get on with the show, let's have a quick look at the grand parade of vehicles as they wrapped up yesterday. This time, ladies and gentlemen, it is not just for show. You can pay to ride in every single one of these vehicles. I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that you can do this. We've got the M110 Howitzer, BMP-1, T-72, and of course, the Jagdpanzer IV, all available for rides at AusArmourfest here on day 2. Now I've dragged them out of the driver's seat and in front of the camera, I have here joining me Daz and Jess. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Curtis.
Thanks for having us.
No worries at all. Hey, so Daz, tell us what vehicle you're driving today.
The vehicles I'm driving today are the M3 half-track and the Jagdpanzer IV.
Nice one. How's the M3 half-track to drive?
That's really nice to drive.
Yeah?
It's pretty smooth. Yeah, it goes around the corners okay. A bit different to the Panzer IV.
Yeah, in what sort of way?
Panzer IVs are more jerky, hard to steer. Yeah. Definitely, you feel it in your arms at the end of the day.
That's because they're meant to just drive forward, break through the front?
That's it, yeah.
Nice one. And Jess, what about yourself, mate? What are you driving?
I'm driving the StuG IV and the Panzer IV.
Okay, so you're into the German tanks.
Yeah,
you find the
tanks.
same thing that Daz said?
Very jerky, hard work, but yeah, no, it's exciting to drive them, definitely.
Is that anything to do with the drive sprocket being to the front of the tank? Like, why are they so jerky?
Basically the way they're set up.
Yep.
You're using the brake, you're braking one side of the track to turn each time, and it's a very jerky movement.
Essentially, you're locking one whole side up, so you're like braking one complete side of the tank.
And yeah, so the action's not smooth. It's not like some of the more modern tanks have actually got a steering wheel.
Definitely, yeah.
Man, that's wild. Well, you guys don't only drive tanks here at AusArmourfest. You actually have been heavily involved in restoring them.
Well, that's Jess and I are working one part of our
workshop
here, the workshops here. We're a team. We've done a few things.
So we've got here, it got a lot of attention on social media. We have the Jagdpanzer IV that you guys were restoring. So tell us about what you're doing here, Jess.
I think we were tightening up the running gear. That was the running gear, I think. We're just doing all the running gear up. Can't really see it.
It's very hard to see.
Yeah,
where we are, it's
hard to see.
But we're putting on the wheel stations.
Yeah, putting on the wheel stations essentially. Yeah.
But there's a lot of work involved, and like when they come to us, it's usually just rusty, twisted bits of metal.
Bits of scrap, hey.
And so it's actually this is a good video to see for us.
This is a fun
We haven't
bit,
seen
right?
it.
No, you haven't seen it, hey.
No, this is where we're putting the wheels on and doing
A lot of work goes into it.
I think
a lot of hours goes into it.
In editing, I think I sped this up 3,000%.
Okay, well
that's the quickest I've ever worked.
Look at it. Yeah, it's not like the V8 supercars or the Formula One.
Definitely not that quick.
No.
Definitely not that quick.
Get out.
You'll notice here we're putting on the Jagdpanzer IV
Steel
Jagdpanzer,
wheels?
yeah, got the steel wheels on the front. A lot of people don't understand that that's what they had because of they tear the rubber off them when they drove.
Particularly at the front, was it?
Yeah, mainly the front because that took most of the
Just because it was so heavy, because the gun and everything was so heavy. A lot of the running gear and everything at the front, and the gun, everything, it was just so heavy that the rubber would just perish and rip to shreds.
Wow, so and that just helped maintain it. Look,
Yeah, they kept them operational longer.
Here we are, and we didn't get to interview Peter yesterday, but Peter, he's one of our resident mechanics, and he helped get it all moving. There he is there, testing it all out. How did you guys find this process here?
Well, their original final drives, for those that don't know, the outer hubs with the sprockets on, they've got the final drive in them.
Yep.
And when we get them, they've been buried in a swamp for 70 odd years, and it's scary what you find in them, let me tell you. We've been very lucky so far. We've managed to get most of them operational.
And we got all original track here as well?
Yes, definitely, yeah. This is us throwing all the track, getting it all ready to throw it on the tank.
And that looked like heavy work.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big day, putting all the track on.
Just didn't go to the gym that afternoon.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Wow.
Here it is, we're just winding it all on.
Yeah.
That's Pete there, he's our mechanic.
No, you did a fantastic job there.
There's nothing light on a tank, I can tell you.
No, well, adding in all that extra, I don't know, minerals to make that steel extra hard, like armour plate, it does add a lot of weight, doesn't it?
Definitely.
They were adjusting the rear idlers.
Yep, to tighten the track.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of a different approach here for this side, I remember.
Yes, yeah.
Tried to streamline it a little bit. Every tank's a little bit different, isn't it?
That's
Putting track on.
Yeah.
We're getting better as we keep making them. We're getting better, and it's getting easier to definitely put them together.
It's not something you learn when you're doing your metal fabricator trade, is it?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And there it is, all put on. Looks fantastic.
When it gets to this stage, you know that you're going well.
That's it. Yeah. You can kind of see you're at the end of the stretch. Yeah. No.
It looked sensational when we had it driving out, which I think is coming up.
Yeah. This is it now.
Yeah,
This is our first test drive.
That's right. Yeah. It looks like a bit of fun. A convertible.
We've got our hearts in our mouths as driving because we just don't know what's going to go wrong.
All painted up. It looks spectacular. We've got a lot of really good feedback on that.
Jess did the painting, and I reckon he done a fantastic job.
Definitely.
There was some sleepless nights. Definitely some sleepless nights.
Look, a lot of research goes into it. Now we were saying, there's so many books and reference pictures to claw through all of that stuff. It's a lot of work. Sometimes I wonder if there's more reference photos than they had tanks built.
That's exactly it. You can spend hours and hours and hours on the internet just looking at models, original photos, just looking for schemes. It's just crazy.
And not everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's all right. We always do our best. Well, fellas, thank you so much for joining me today. It was great having you on the show. I'll let you get back to your very important work.
No worries. Thank
you very much.
Thank you. All right, we're going to throw live to our first round of commentary with Alex up in the AusArmour Tower. How's it going up there, Alex?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to AusArmour 2021 Day 2. My name's Alex, and I'm your commentator live from the Eagle's Nest up here in the box. This session's all about us and what we do here, what you can see on the track. Please ask us any questions. We love hearing what you guys would like to say. Thank you, Jason Gardiner. Thank you for your comments. We're happy that you're really excited to see this as a tank nut and as an enthusiast. We love bringing these kind of vehicles out to display, especially on AusArmourfest, and really just showcasing what we do here at AusArmour. Thank you, Israel. We appreciate your greetings from Mexico, and we appreciate you staying up late to watch our stream today. The vehicles you can see on the track at this point of time, the vehicle you can currently see on your screen is the Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. So that recently got to the museum. We acquired that from Poland. You can also see out on the track the Sabre, which is the British vehicle with the British flag, and you could also just see a Humvee with a 50 caliber machine gun. In the center of the track there, you can see one of our 88s here at the museum. This 88 currently on the track, we plan to sandblast and repaint in the near future and have as a beautiful display in the middle of our lawn. As you can see here, we've got quite a few people here today, and we've got quite a few of our vehicles going around for rides. So there you can see parked up for the loading dock, and just about to pull out there is the BMP-1. You can see we've got very happy riders here today taking photos and enjoying themselves in this very good weather. Do we have any questions at all about the vehicles or the museum itself or what we do here at AusArmour? Thank you, TJ. We appreciate your hello from Tennessee. Thank you for staying up late and watching our stream. So as you can see out the back, we've got that green water truck. So that goes around our track regularly, wetting down the track, making sure it doesn't get too dusty, because that dust can really affect our visitors. We don't want you to get dusty, and we also don't want our riders to get too dusty either. It's an important part of what we do here, and it just allows us to maintain our track and make sure that the comfort of our guests comes first. So Tony, the owner of the museum, he's very involved in what we do here. He's here regularly, he's here most of the week, most weeks. He's actually out on the field today driving vehicles. So he's very hands-on, he's very involved, this is his passion, and we love carrying his passion forward with him. Hi TJ Casey, thank you for your question. If we have an AV7 here at the museum, unfortunately the AV7 that you're referring to, Mephisto, is not held by the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum. The only surviving A7V, Mephisto, is actually held by the Queensland Museum in Brisbane. So same state, but not us unfortunately. We would love to have her here, however. So Michael, unfortunately at this stage we aren't offering that capacity. The vehicles are very delicate, a lot of them are very delicate, so unfortunately we don't anticipate in the near future or in the future at all we will be offering a pay to learn to drive of our armoured vehicles. Thank you for your kind question though, asking whether we will be offering that in the near future. We thank everyone that can't be here due to COVID restrictions or lockdowns that are able to come and visit us here today via the live stream and see what we're doing. So Jim, we're very lucky that the boss is quite financially supportive of the museum. The museum's primary source of income, however, to run and operate our vehicles, is AusArmourfest. So this event and the fact that we charge for rides allows us to generate revenue, to keep the museum going, to keep all the vehicles running and in good working order so we can display them like we are now. So Mark Davies, thank you for your question about the FT17. Unfortunately, they are very difficult to acquire. We would really love one here. The FT17 is iconic, one of the first, major breakthroughs in tank design. So unique and really pushing that and really embodying that single turret tank design and bringing it forward. As you can see, the whole way through tank development, all the way up to the modern day. We would really love one here. They are very difficult to acquire. There are a handful that are known to us. Unfortunately, it does not seem that we would ever be able to acquire one of them, but we are always looking. So Mark Blades, thank you for your question. If we accept volunteers, we do accept volunteers here at the museum. However, due to our work health and safety practices and our requirements by law, we are limited with what we can allow volunteers to do. Darren Howie, thank you for your question whether the Panther is coming out today or tomorrow. The Panther came out yesterday. If you do have a check on our Facebook, I'm sure we'll be putting up some footage of that soon, if we haven't already. Unfortunately, the Panther was experiencing some driving difficulties, particularly with turning right, and some minor engine tweaks. As a result, we have put her away at the moment, and we won't have her out for a little bit. As you can see on the screen right now, guys, we have our StuG IV out of the museum. So we've brought her out today to give rides to people, and she's a real beautiful vehicle. As with a lot of our German vehicles, she is a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster. We've accumulated parts from the East and Western fronts of World War II, from private collections and battlefield wreckages. This particular StuG IV is comprised roughly 50%, so the gun, the mantlet, most of the frontal armour plates of the vehicle, but 50% of the vehicle has come from one wrecked vehicle, which was located in central Ukraine. Hi Matty Elvins, thank you for your question about us potentially acquiring an A1 Abrams. Unfortunately at this point in time, they are a restricted thing and we don't believe we'll be able to get our hands on one for a while. Cameron Stewart, thank you for your question about the AC-1 Sentinel. We do have an AC-1 Sentinel here at the museum. We have one that we intend to bring back to fully operational condition with its cloverleaf engine setup, so the 3 V6 engines, and we're really excited to do that one day. Yes, Clayton, engine issues with a Panther, engine issues, I mean, who would have thought? Hello Andrew Taylor, thank you for asking if our tanks have been used in movies or documentaries. Unfortunately not at this stage. I assume that that's probably because most movies and documentaries aren't made in Australia in regards to World War II and other things like that that would necessitate these vehicles. However, we are open to those kind of things and we hope to do something with others in the future. Out on the track now is our T-72 main battle tank. So second generation main MBT, really just a beautiful piece of Soviet design engineering. Ours is a Czech model, so typically the Czechoslovakian models had a higher manufacturing quality, so the engines were better, the vehicles ran better, however they didn't have the Soviet ingredients when it came to armour and armour development. So although they mechanically are more sound and better to operate, the armour protection isn't as good as with the Soviet-made MBT T-72 models. It's really good, isn't it? She just goes, and this is one of the most reliable vehicles in our museum. People can say lots of things about Russian vehicles, but Russian vehicles, they'll go until they die. But when they die, it's very hard to get them back going again. So Paul Lee, we have lots of self-propelled artillery here at the museum. As you watch the camera come around there, you might see back there up against the fence an M110 self-propelled gun. Ours is ex-Spanish Army, and she's a beautiful big beast, but unfortunately there's no riders for her at the moment, so she isn't going around the track. As we look at the vehicles on the track, you'll see right in the middle, we're just about to pan to it now, is we'll see the Panzer IV. So the Panzer IV J, that we have out on the field today, she's an absolute beauty. So she's a mixture of Western and Eastern front parts, as with the StuG IV, and she's absolutely incredible. As you can see on the sides of the turret there, you've got that darker area of the metal. That's original Scherzen plate, additional armour plate for the turret there, with its original paint and its original markings. And the sides of the vehicle there, you can see the Scherzen shields. So it's not actually Scherzen, it's called Thomas shield. So that shielding along the sides of the vehicle is made from a wire mesh. So the idea behind that is when Russian anti-tank rifles are shooting at the vehicles to disable their tracks and road wheels and return rollers, the shield will deform the bullet, not stop it, but just deform it enough that it loses most of its power and force, that when it hits the vehicle itself, there's just nothing going on there, and it won't damage the vehicle. Do we have any other questions at all, ladies and gentlemen? How beautiful does that Panzer IV look? So our Panzer IV there, you can see, it's being driven by Jess, who you just had the pleasure of seeing on interview. Jess just absolutely loves that vehicle. He does make jokes about it being jerky, but the Panzer IV series are just such an iconic vehicle, you can't help but smile when you're giving it a drive. So Matty Elvins, thank you for your question, whether or not we wish to acquire a Bushmaster. At the moment they are starting to be phased out. It does seem like they may in the future become available. However, at this point of time we don't have any plans for one. Will Ilson asks, is the Tiger almost ready? Well, the Tiger is ready. If you have a look on our Facebook, you'll see the Tiger is in the museum and she's on display. Darren, thank you for your comments there. Darren's just mentioned that it is actually attendees going for rides today, not staff, and that is correct. So here at AusArmour, for the Saturday and Sunday of our AusArmourfest celebration for our birthday, we allow our visitors and our attendees to purchase tickets to go for rides. And look, there's Barney going for a ride on a Panzer IV. I don't think I'd ever thought I would say that in my life. Thank you, Liam, for passing that one on from Twitch. The oldest vehicle we have here in the museum would probably be the original model of T-26, so the Russian early model with the twin machine gun turrets. We believe that one was manufactured in 1931 or 1932. Oh, Barney's making a special appearance there on the screen. It was a pleasure to see Barney there. So as you can see going around the track now, we've got the M3 half-track. So, iconic vehicle, absolutely well established in World War II. 56,000, I believe, different variations of the M3 were produced. It's just such a great vehicle, and as Daryl said earlier, they just drive so well. And then it's very interesting there, and it's such a lovely shot. You see the old World War II American carrier, and then right behind it you see the modern. So you can see lots of happy attendees there. So Azul Ventura, thank you for your question in regards to reverse engineering components for our vehicles. So we do attempt to reverse engineer as much as we can. With the Soviet stuff, we're actually able to buy parts quite commonly. With the American stuff, it's not too bad. A lot of the engines and things like that aren't too difficult. The issue comes with German vehicles. So unfortunately, with a lot of the German detailed mechanical equipment, such as engines, there's just none left. And if they are available, they're so expensive that it's cost prohibitive. For example, 251 half tracks, a running engine for a 251 can cost almost as much as 2 restored 251 half tracks without engines. As such, with a lot of our German vehicles that we've rebuilt here at the museum, we've installed new either modern or Cold War period power plants to allow the vehicles to operate. Thank you again very much, guys, for watching in on our live stream today. We're very happy to bring it to you. As such, we have to pass back to Curtis down there in the studio. Thank you very much for watching us for this morning's live session, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
We have had a fantastic relationship with World of Tanks over the years, and we are proud to partner with them again for 2021, as well as Tag Mods and Republic of Gamers. Head over to World of Tanks now and get into the game, get into the store and buy some premium content to go into the draw to win a custom-built StuG III gaming PC. This StuG is based on our soon-to-be work in progress late war StuG III-G. It is a one-of-a-kind custom PC built for this event, and if you're a tank enthusiast, having this sit on your desk would be something really, really special. All proceeds from this in-game promotion that you purchase will come to us and help us get the real one back to its former glory. If you're locked down, up for some fun, and want to support the rebuilding of a historical World War II artifact, well, watch on to find out how.
So you want your very own StuG PC, hey? Well, here's how you can get one and support the AusArmour Museum at the same time. Just head on over to tanks.ly/AAF2021 and you'll be able to create an account. All you need to do is put in your email address, create an account name and a password. Make sure to use the invite code AAF2021 to get yourself 500 gold, 3 days of World of Tanks Premium and 100,000 credits. On top of this, you'll also get some missions that will allow you to unlock an additional 3 tanks, including the Object 244, boosters, free equipment, and more premium time. You'll now be able to purchase the special raffle ticket bundles on the premium shop. Once you've purchased your chosen bundle, you're entered, and we'll contact you on September 3rd if you're the winner. Thank you for supporting AusArmourfest and the restoration of the StuG project.
Yes, I've had to tell everyone here that works here not to go into the draw to win that thing, but I tell you what, it is bloody tempting. Don't forget, World of Tanks are going to be streaming at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time today and tomorrow. So you don't want to miss that. Our next segment, we showed you the first episode yesterday. We're showing you the second one today, all on the restoration of our Tiger One with Bo. So let's see where we're up to with that now. Hi, I'm Kurt from AusArmour, and this is the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum. Now that we finally have the roof back from being blasted and painted, Bo's ready to start welding it to the hull. This is going to be a really laborious task, and Bo's going to be spending dozens of hours on it. So let's see how he goes about it.
Bo has to get the roof exactly in the right place by using these metal clamps and bolts on threaded rod that he's temporarily welded to the chassis. This will pull the roof flat and keep it from moving while he works. Once everything is level, he can gear up and get started. Welding is dangerous work, and it gets really hot in the workshop. Bo certainly has his work cut out for him. To give you an idea of how big this job is, let's see how long one stick of weld takes. Like everything else with the Tiger, it's a big job, and it's going to take a lot of time and labour. In the first episode, we talked a bit about welding the new plate we've fabricated to original armour plate we've been able to source. Since the sides of the hull are all original, we're going to need to stick weld the entire perimeter of the roof to secure it in place. In the Panzer factories, workers would have had access to very large electrodes and would have been able to fill this gap very quickly, probably with just one pass. Unfortunately, these small rods are all that's available to us. Bo has to simultaneously drag and push this stick slowly and carefully to ensure that the weld binds correctly. Over 40 seconds per stick.
We've got to fill this whole gap up well, and that was one rod.
How many rods are you going to go through?
Well, that was one, probably for the whole thing, for a couple thousand.
wasn't already difficult enough, this is all Bo can see through the visor. This shield activates as soon as it detects harmful rays and dims everything down to a safe level to work at. Unfortunately, it also dims everything else. Once Bo has finished stick welding the entire roof in, he can start to fill in the rest of the gap with the MIG. MIG welding is a little bit different to the stick. It uses a continuous solid wire electrode fed through a welding gun and into the weld pool, joining the two base materials together. Shielding gas is also sent through the welding gun, and this protects the weld pool from contaminants.
It's long, tedious, really labour intensive, but Bo will get it done, and when he does, it's going to look fantastic. Join us next time when we start fitting accessories, wheels, and start painting. Until then, I'm Kurt from AusArmour, and I'll see you next time. Yes, we get asked all the time on Facebook if our Tiger One is a runner and why there's no Zimmerit. Well, don't worry. We will be making the Tiger One a runner in the future. It'll take a few years to get all the parts we need, but it will happen. We will also be applying Zimmerit after the engine and transmission and all that good stuff is fitted. So allow me to put your mind at ease. In the meantime, we do have plenty of vehicles actually running, as you can see behind me. We're going to go live to Alex and get a bit of commentary on what is going around the track right now.
Hi there guys, welcome back to the second round of our live commentary here at AusArmour. We can see a few vehicles on there on the track, so our StuG IV, which we talked about earlier, and our T72 main battle tank, which we also talked about earlier. Off to the left you can see a few of our parked vehicles, including our Walker Bulldog, which is backing up now. The Walker Bulldog is one of my favourite vehicles, I have to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask on the live stream on Facebook. Send me a comment, and I'm happy to answer your questions. Out of the track now, guys. Someone asked me earlier about the M110 self-propelled gun, and here she is. So our M110, Spanish origins, served with the Spanish Army. It's an absolutely incredibly big piece of equipment. There's no other word for it than just big and massive. It's just an absolute monster of a thing, and we're really happy to get it out to stretch its legs this AusArmourfest. So Joseph Bevins asks if we have a running stag hound armoured car. Bevan, at this point of time, we do not have a running stag hound. We do have a T17E2 and a regular stag hound. We do intend to perhaps get the T17 running at a later point. However, we're just so swamped with projects at the moment that we just don't have the time to add that. We've got some very happy customers there on our vehicle. So we really love doing at AusArmourfest, really putting you in the seat and allowing you to both see, experience and ride these real vehicles in real life. So Stephen asked earlier, what's the fuel bill for AusArmourfest? Well, Stephen, we've never actually done a proper breakdown on how much we've spent on fuel. But I think this year it might be fun to actually sort of detail the amount that we've burned in these vehicles, the amount we've bought just to keep them running today. So Sebastian asked earlier what Panzer IV model we had out on the track, and that was an Alf J. So that was the last model of the Panzer IV series that was produced. They actually considered it sort of an economy model because they took the electric turret traverse out, put a hand crank system in, changed the exhaust system, did a lot of changes that really made the vehicle cheaper to operate. Oh, so we've got a fun vehicle. I'm just looking at it out of my box at the moment, over in the loading section there. Hasn't gone out yet today. It's our Land Rover with a recoilless rifle on it. Hopefully we get to see that soon on the track. Out on the track now, following up the M110, we have our Kitten Crab. Hopefully you get to see that in a minute. It's just such a fun little vehicle. So Paul, it depends on the vehicle. Some run on diesel, some run on petrol. We even have a couple here that are two-stroke. So thank you for asking what kind of fuel systems they use. Out now on the track, you can see our M41 Walker Bulldog. So ours is from New Zealand. The very funny story with those is the Americans went to the New Zealand Army and said, here are 10 Walker Bulldogs with crews, with instructors, manuals, everything you need, spares, here you go. And the New Zealanders said, thank you for this nice present. And the Americans said, okay, we've given you this present, you need to bring them to Vietnam. The New Zealanders very quickly said, no, we don't want to do that. And they didn't actually send them to Vietnam. As a result, they retained them. They used them for a long period of time and they were retired because they were becoming too expensive to operate. This one was acquired as a wreck from New Zealand, from a scrapyard, and was completely rebuilt in Geelong, Victoria, Australia by Sim Military Restorations. It is an absolutely beautiful vehicle. You just have to be a bit careful with it. The first time we took it out for a spin to do engine checks on it, we burned 11 litres of fuel driving 1 kilometre. Brickmeister, thank you for asking on Twitch how much our rides cost here at AusArmour. The cheapest rides that we offer are $35, but depending on the vehicle, they do go up as high as $250. So Andrew Judson asks, what runs on two-stroke? We actually have I believe it's called ATLB. I'm sorry, my brain isn't quite clicking at this point in time. It's a little Soviet artillery tractor. It's very cute. That actually runs on two-stroke. So Bernie Courtney, I was asked this question earlier. What is the oldest tank in the museum? That is our T-26 with the dual machine gun turrets. So you can see that beautiful M41 Walker Bulldog there. It's very interesting. When it was given to South Vietnamese crews to operate, they absolutely loved it because although it was very tight for Americans and Australians and New Zealanders, well, Australia didn't use it, my apologies, but New Zealand and America, when they used it, was very tight for crews. The South Vietnamese found it absolutely perfect for their body dimensions and absolutely loved the vehicle. Mike, I don't think, Mike says that if New Zealand sent a Bob Semple tank over to Vietnam, the war would have been won. Maybe Mike, maybe they would have all run away laughing. So, Dat Boy asks, are the people on the tanks veterans? Some of them may be, but they're all just visitors here at the museum today, and they're all attendees who've wanted to go for a ride and purchase tickets. So, Matty Elvins asks, do we have a working Jagdpanzer or a Marder? So at this point we do not have any Marder here at the museum, but we do intend to restore a Jagdpanther. So we have some incredible pieces of a couple of destroyed Jagdpanthers and an original front plate that was never used and it was disposed of at the German factory. So we're really excited to start putting that together, but unfortunately that will not be a running vehicle. It's really good. We love doing this at AusArmour, just really showing you these vehicles in motion. So as you guys can see, the little Land Rover there on the screen, just to the right hand side, the big 106 recoilless on it. So Ken Stokes asks if we can send rounds through any of the guns. Unfortunately, we cannot, due to firearms legislation in Australia. Although it is very responsible and it helps us, maintain things here. Unfortunately, it means we can't put rounds through the vehicles. So here at AusArmour, we're quite busy today. Numbers are quite good. It's really good to see so many people turning up, even though I'm sure a lot of people on the stream are in the boat. They're stuck in other states due to quarantine and COVID restrictions. Out on the track now, there's a T72 again. She's just such a popular vehicle here at AusArmour. She's going almost all day. So driving that vehicle is our assistant manager, Jason. He's going to be stuck in there all day. He might get 10 minutes for lunch. But the great thing is, and as I said earlier, these Russian Cold War vehicles, everyone makes jokes, but they go and they don't stop working. They just keep going and going and going. Doesn't matter what you put them to, they'll achieve it. So Matty Elvins asks, do we have any Centurions here at the museum? We do have a Centurion here at the museum. At the moment it's got a major fuel pump and fuel line issue, so it's not out for AusArmourfest. It will be brought back into operation, I believe, at some point in the future. It is ex-Australian Army stock. It is not a combat veteran of Vietnam. So Daniel asks, do we have any Russian tanks like the IS-2, IS-3, or tank destroyers such as the ISU-152 or the Su-100? So Daniel, great question. Funnily enough, we do have, I wouldn't call the ISU-152 a tank destroyer. It's a siege gun mounted on an armoured chassis. But we do have an ISU-152 here at the museum. It's an incredible piece of machinery, and we do also have an Su-100. Yes, Daniel, it is a Czech T-72, much better than the Soviet ones. As you can see out there on the track, we've got the truck running around. These vehicles burn so much fuel. We've got a truck just running around with lots of petrol and a mobile petrol filling facility, and we just fill up tanks all day. So Brett Dewberry asks where our museum is. So our museum, the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum, is located in Cairns, Queensland, in Australia. So we've just been asked if we have any half tracks like the Hummer Mug. We do have an 11.1 STKFZ that operates. By the time that we receive our new acquisitions of 251 and 250 half tracks, we will actually have the largest collection of German World War II half-tracked vehicles in the world. At the moment though, the only running one that we have is a STKFZ 11.1 anti-aircraft vehicle. So Josh Weller asks if any AA tanks, so anti-aircraft tanks, have been driven around the track today. You might see in the footage coming up, we do have the Gepard self-propelled anti-aircraft vehicle out on the track today. It's not driving at the moment because unfortunately we don't have any riders. You can see on the screen there, that's our assistant manager Jason driving that T-72. Do we have any other questions at all for us here at AusArmour? We're happy to talk about our vehicles, we're happy to talk about what we do here and what our plans are for the future. So Adrian Cook asks if we have an M46 pattern. We have a M47 pattern in the museum, I think, and we have an M48 planned. I'm sorry, I just get confused with the patterns. So on the shot there, you can see how we're laid out here. It was really good. You could see the whole museum front. So we're just about to have come out on the track now, and she's zooming out. We've got a Humvee. So the Humvee is such an iconic vehicle. It's really good to have her out on the track, especially considering what's been going on in the Middle East over the last few weeks, the unfortunate circumstances over there. The Humvee we've got going around the track is one of the more popular vehicles here at AusArmourfest. She's just such a treat to drive. She goes like a trooper, and everyone in it just has an absolutely great time. So Ken Stokes asks, did we acquire a Leopard tank when they were decommissioned? So we have a German Leopard of ex-German Army stock that is here and operates for ArmourFest. So you'll actually see that probably tomorrow on the live stream if you want to come back then. We do have an Australian Army Leopard in the museum. It is on loan to us from the Australian Army. It is not our vehicle. So Tyler Morton asks if the Panther will be running, or are we keeping it in for fear of gearbox breaking? At this point, Morton, we are having difficulties not with the gearbox, but with the steering. So it won't turn right, which makes it very difficult for us to operate. And it is having engine overheating problems, sorry. So we are keeping that inside today, unfortunately. So the test track Adrian has asked how long it is. It's a 500 metre track. Typically with the rides you do 2 laps. So Peter Francis asks if we have an online store. We do for a lot of our merchandise. If you just go to ausarmour.com, have a look at us there. We have a lot of our merchandise on sale. So John Bevs asks, what World War II era tanks do we have in the museum? Well, John, I don't think I have enough time to list them all. We have an incredible collection here of World War II armoured vehicles. I can tell you for a fact that a couple more are coming very soon, but I can't say what they are. We really are really proud of our World War II collection. I encourage you to have a look on our website at the full list there. So Matty Elvins has asked us about Leo 2s, Leopard 2s and Challenger tanks. Challenger tanks are still restricted, the Charlies Series 1, 2 and 3. Obviously the 3 is not available, the 2 is not available, but the Charlie 1s are still considered a restricted vehicle in the United Kingdom, so they are allowed to be, I believe, sold and owned privately in the United Kingdom, but they're not allowed to be exported, which is a bit of a weird set of legislation. I'm not sure if I'm really the best professional person to talk about British legislation in that regard. I'm not sure if I've got it correct, but at this stage it makes it extremely difficult for us to get a Charlie. Leopard 2s, as they are currently serving vehicle, if we were to purchase them, we would be paying full price. That's a lot of money for an organisation like us. So Bernie Courtney asks if we have any modern tanks used in combat. With a lot of these vehicles, they don't come with combat logs. A lot of the vehicles wouldn't have seen service, depending on where they were and what countries they were in. Obviously, a lot of them saw service with militaries, but a lot of major militaries didn't actually see combat, particularly in the Cold War period. So, for example, our Czech T-72, there's no way it would have ever fired a shot in anger. Our Walker, we know for a fact, didn't. It's just really hard with a lot of these vehicles to really determine that. We do believe that probably the most modern, I can't think of what it may be, but I will keep that in mind if you do ask me again tomorrow, Bernie. So Scott Parkinson asks, do we have a Cromwell tank? We will have a Cromwell tank one day. We do have one planned for the near future, and it will come to us soon. So John Bibbs, our oldest vehicle in the collection, as I've stated previously, T26 with dual machine gun turrets, the first model ever made. So Michael Hollebrone asks, what's the rarest vehicle we have? We do have a couple of vehicles here that are quite rare, but the rarest would have to be the 11-1 half-track, the SDKF set 11-1, the flak half-track. Our vehicle is the only known survivor of World War II in the museum. In the world, sorry. Bernie Courtney's asked about our thoughts on the North Korean M2020. Well, when you're recycling old tanks and upgrading them, like the North Koreans are, look, they could have done a worse job. So Bob Campbell, I can't really tell you what acquisitions we've got coming from overseas, but I can tell you that there are currently 4 museum acquisitions sitting in quarantine, and we can't wait to get them into the museum in the next week or 2. So Josh Weller, we do offer Josh has asked whether we do offer rides regularly. We offer rides daily on our specific ride vehicle, but however on our regular exhibits, we do just offer it with today and tomorrow for AusArmourfest. Thank you very much, guys, for your questions and your time. I'll be passing you back downstairs. Hope you enjoy the stream.
Well, I've missed out on him yesterday, but I've managed to drag him off the track and out of a tank driver's seat. I have with me Pete, our resident mechanic. Welcome, Pete. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Mate, so
you're a break from driving. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a nice breeze up here, isn't it? Hey, so tell us, what vehicle were you driving earlier today?
Earlier, we're driving the Sherman tank, the Firefly.
Yep.
And that, we've just finished rebuilding the engine.
Yep.
We had a cooling problem with it, and we've got it up and running now. It's quite popular.
The runner runs nicely now?
Yeah, we're very happy with it. And we've got 21 other vehicles as well for today. It's excellent.
Which other ones are you driving today?
Today, the Sextant. We have a limited amount of drivers.
Okay.
So we're playing tag teams. So we're basically 10 of us are driving 21 vehicles. So we're just going from one vehicle to the next vehicle.
And we've got Lottie here. What's she driving?
An MTLB.
MTLB?
Is it? Yeah.
Was that the BMP one?
It's the BMP. Yeah, it's the BMP. Lottie's driving at the moment. And they're just loading the passengers up on it. And they'll have a lovely ride around the figure of 8 chest track that we have here.
How do you find, so you've worked on like a lot of the vehicles here, and you've got vehicles from so many different nationalities.
Yep.
And so just as an example, you've got the BMP1 here, and we've also got, say, a comparable vehicle that would be US built. Are they very different in how they've been manufactured?
Not really. The base models are, the drivelines are usually American engines or British engines, like Rolls-Royce.
In both tanks?
In both tanks.
Is that right?
Yeah, they've got, the country source the engines from, like the Germans. Oh, God, I don't know. Anyway, the engines are...
yeah, basically the same.
They're basically the same, just lots of variants in which they go in.
Yeah.
Like the Shermans had, I think about 27 variants and only 3 engines. And they could pick up any engine they want. They even used aircraft radial engines in the Shermans, to the V8 Ford engines, to the Cadillac where they put 3 engines together to put them in them. So during the wartime, they grabbed anything, they just shoved it in there. And so when they arrive here, we look at it and go, oh, it's a Cadillac, oh, it's a Ford.
That's unreal, Peter.
And we restore them and get them running.
Well, your knowledge is second to none. Thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a very special segment for you next. I got the museum director, Rob Loudon, earlier this week, and he's taking us on an exclusive tour of the Willy Wonka factory of tanks and armoured vehicles. Let's have a look at that now.
We've just finished our Tiger 1. We've got a StuG III that we're about to start, but I thought tidy up a few loose ends to begin with. So right here we've got a whole lot of Tiger 1 pieces that are surplus to our requirements. And it's a shame to get rid of them because Tiger 1 stuff is so rare. So what we've got the rear left-hand part of the turret. We've got the front left-hand piece of turret there. We've got 2 nice big pieces of roof and this piece of cupola. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a nice display for the museum out of these broken pieces. It'll allow people to see the thickness of the Tiger armour and to get a feel and touch it from the inside. We're actually quite lucky that our surplus pieces are all from the left-hand side, which means that it will go together quite nicely. We've got a few gaps to fill in, but we'll leave this blast piece like it is because it looks pretty spectacular. Anything that's 80mm armour plate takes a fair bit of energy to do that. Okay, so meanwhile in workshop number 2, they've just finished their Jagdpanzer IV, and their next project is putting together a Jagdpanther. So we've got a particularly good set of parts for it. So just here we have the fighting compartment roof. There is the fighting compartment rear wall. We have that inner door that goes in it. This is the front glacis plate. We have the lower glacis plate as well, it's outside. We have both left and right sides, part of the left lower hull side. And over here we have all the final drives, sprockets, full set of wheels, return rollers. That's the rear engine deck piece. In that basket is the piece that fills the centre. We've got all the vents, as you can see, for a late model Jagdpanzer, and yeah, lots of goodies in this basket. I know to some people it look like a load of old rubbish, but to us tank guys, it's all gold. It's rusty gold. There's baskets full of Panzer IV, there's Panzer I, there's Panzer II. Yeah, road wheels for Shermans, yeah, you name it, it's there. So it's a bit of a mess, and one of these days we'll get round to cleaning it all up. Just here we've got a very nice piece. That's a left-hand side fighting compartment of a Panzer IV FG. We can tell that by the hatch on the side here. And just faintly here is the original black Balkan Cross, which is a nice feature. Yes, we will be making another Panzer IV-G. We've got a full set of parts for it, lots of turret pieces, gun, mantle, I have plenty of goodies for it.
Yes, in over 200 exhibits here at the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum. The scale of this place, when you enter those doors, is just staggering. And at AusArmourfest, it's just made even more spectacular when we have the ones that are running out on the track, engines roaring, tank tracks clattering. It is just unbelievable. If you're into machines, if you're into history, if you're into mechanical things, it's just wild. This experience is unlike any other, especially because you get to ride in them, and that's the special thing about AusArmourfest, is the Saturday and Sunday being able to ride in these vehicles and get a taste of what it might have been like back in the day. Just unreal. There it is, another little glimpse of inside. It's almost like a cathedral. In a way, it is a sort of part of a pilgrimage for a lot of historically minded people. I tell you what, that T-72 behind me is very, very loud. It doesn't stop all day. One of the most popular vehicles at AusArmourfest. Anyway, that is all we have time for today. We want to thank you very, very much for joining us, and we hope you had a good time. We also want to thank our sponsors, World of Tanks, Tag Mods, and Republic of Gamers for their incredible support and provision of this StuG III gaming PC. Don't forget, you are still able to go in the draw to win it by going into World of Tanks store and buying up the special AusArmour value bundles. You definitely don't want to miss that. You also don't want to miss the stream, the World of Tanks stream at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time today, an hour after this show concludes. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there. I'm Kurt from AusArmour, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for joining us.